dream is to play one non-conference and one conference game.
Really? So like the Wofford game a couple years ago, but do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, and us winning it next time.
Coach, what are you looking to get from Leaky this year?
You know what, Leaky, he's going to be great for us this year. You know, throughout his career, he's played a number of different positions. He's played point, he's played small forward, he's played some power forward. And one of the things that I've told him is that, I just want to simplify things. I think with his length and his athleticism, he can be an unbelievable defender. I really believe that. And I want him to focus on that. I think he can be a great offensive rebounder. So I really want him to focus on that and then his ability to get to the basket and make plays. If you ask him from an offensive standpoint, the thing that he loves to do the best, he loves to facilitate, he loves to pass. He's always wanted to. And so having somebody 6'8" at the small forward position that can distribute to Caleb, to RJ, to Kirby, to Armando, to Dawson, that gives us a lot of flexibility, and I'm expecting huge things from him this year.
Coach, being the shooter that you were in your career, does that give you sort of like a soft spot for Kerwin at all, or increase your desire to give him some open looks throughout the game?
No, he only averaged 6 shots a game last year. I never only shot 6 shots a game. As well he shoots, he shot 42% from three-point range, 6 shots a game, and it's 2 parts. Number one, we have to do a better job of getting him the ball, and number 2 is he has to do a better job looking for the ball. And so it's a two-way street. And so this whole preseason and the start of practice, we have told him that he has to be aggressive. And so he has 2 names. Off the court, he's Kerwin, and then his Instagram name is Dr. K. On the court, he's Dr. K, and that's somebody that's really aggressive on the offensive end.
Coach, what makes basketball in the state of North Carolina so special?
The history, a number of unbelievable great programs that, in terms of proximity, are close together. There's so many campuses that have, the uniqueness of campuses being close together, but to have North Carolina and Duke and North Carolina State 20 miles apart, I don't know if any other place has that. I think that's what makes the history and the proximity, what makes North Carolina basketball so unbelievable.
Name, image, like from the fan perspective. You know how fans become very spoiled. And like even football season right now, like some of the fans are saying things that shouldn't be said. We're a lot more optimistic at the beginning of the season. Similarly to basketball, fans are going to be very optimistic. Overly optimistic. But what would you like to say to the fans? What are you expecting from them, like as a part of sense of understanding during this transition period, like we're going to be 20,000 deep in the dean on Friday, excited, screaming. What would you say to them?
The thing that I've said is support for our players. One of the things, you look at Armando, 6'11", you look at Caleb, who's so athletic and quick, and you look at Dawson and Brady, and forget that they're kids. That's what they need, is they need encouragement, support. You can always find somebody to say something negative, not being someone's side. One of the things that I want is I want our fans, I want our fan base, I want our supporters to be so supportive of our players and understand that yes, they're talented, yes, they have expectations, and more importantly, they're just kids.
And lastly, I was at a lot of media were fortunate enough to be able to practice, and you got very upset, and you sort of went into them on, just on a discipline level, and it was shocking to me that you didn't use one curse word. And I know that's a story that's been going around, but I just want to know the truth to that as far as it dates back to Coach Dean Smith, and that's why you don't do it, and the reason why you don't use any profanity, period. Especially, I've never seen a coach at his team and not use any profanity in my life. And that was just very shocking.
No, I won't use any profanity. When I first started at Carolina, I've never heard Coach Smith, Coach Guthridge, not one coach at Carolina in my experience never used profanity. So for an 18, 19-year-old kid to be able to have that example of being able to communicate and get your point across without using profanity left a huge mark on me as an 18-year-old kid. Coach Smith, it is Coach Williams' floor, but it's Coach Smith's building. And so you have never use profanity, and I'm not going to do it as well. And that's just a part of my regular language. One of the things that I always try to tell the guys, whether you're with your parents, with your friends, in church, at the basketball court, always communicate consistently in a way where wherever you are, you can talk the same language. Always communicate. So that's the way I communicate. Use profanity, and if our guys use profanity, then they're going to get on the line and run. It's important to me. In 10 years, I've used profanity once. It was at the game at Tennessee. We played at Tennessee and we won. We were in the huddle. And the next day, it was my scouting report. And I got in front of the team and I started crying. And I apologized to each one of them because it was important for me that their 4 years, they would say they never heard that from Coach Davis. And so for that group, they heard one from me, and I apologized, and I told them that would never happen.
If I recall correctly, when Roy got the job, he said that Dean's role with him was that if he reached out to Dean and asked for something, Dean would have a response ready. What is your relationship with Roy as far as any kind of advice he may have for you, critique he may have for you, an element of the team? I know he's been in practice a couple of times. How is that relationship now with him?
It's great. You know, Coach Williams recruited me out of high school, so I've known him for a long time. It's not just my experience in the 9 years as being one of his assistants. So we have a relationship. I love him being around. I told him that I wasn't moving into his office until they made an office for him in the basketball office. So I want him around. He's been terrific. And I love him coming at practice. He comes to practice regularly. And one of the things that I love is that anytime that I need to ask him anything, basketball related, off the court or whatever, I have the freedom and I'm comfortable at calling him at any time. So that's just the relationship that we have.
If a recruit calls and says he's interested about NIL opportunities in Carolina, what's that conversation like?
A recruit?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you do have opportunities to recruit, you know, to talk to the NIL about with a recruit. This is the thing that I'm so excited that our student athletes are finally now having the opportunity to, from a financial standpoint, be compensated off their rifles. I've always believed that they should, and I'm glad that we're at this place. One of the things that I have with the players and I will have with the recruits is like, you need to check 2 boxes before you think NIL. Number one, you got to have team success, and number 2, you're going to have to play. So if we win, and you individually win out there on the court, the NIL will take care of itself. That's the exact conversation that I have with the recruits and our current players.
Do you foresee using NIL there to the recruiting benefits of the program or within the rules of course?
Yeah.
You know what? And this is what I say. Carolina, my experience at Carolina, it's not a pit stop university. It's not a pit stop program. I want guys that are fully invested in this program and want to be here, whether they're here 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. I want you to unpack your bag and I want you to leave. So those are the type of guys that I want. If somebody wants to use North Carolina as a pit stop and use North Carolina for NIL deals, then that's not the guy for Carolina. You're not going to come here.
Coach, someone that I'm close with at UNC is actually Nemo Stewart. He had a chance to play with you on the JV team, and he's talked about the impact that you've made on his life and how he grew as a student. On the flip side, how has the JV team impacted your coaching career, and what have they done for you personally?
Yeah, it's great. A lot of people don't understand that Carolina has a JV program. Because of COVID, we haven't had the program last year, not going to happen this year. We're going to bring it back next year, but you know, for the 9 years that I was an assistant, I was a JV coach for 7 of them. And so having that experience to write up practice plans, to put together practices, to set a rotation, to coach during the game. Yes, it's not the same as being a head coach at the University of North Carolina, but those are valuable tools that I have used to help me prepare for where I'm at right now.
How have you seen?
There's another coach at UNC who's known for his shoe game.
Yeah.
Is that something that we may see from you with some different shoe drip?
Yeah, we'll have some different shoe drip, but my favorites are Jordan 1 lows. That's all I would wear. At 51 years old, I want things that are comfortable. Jordan 1 lows are my most comfortable shoe. I like the 11 lows, but Jordan 1 lows. So I'll be wearing all different types of styles, but it will be Jordan 1 lows.
What shoes are you currently
Huh?
What Jordans are you currently wearing now?
Right now?
Yeah.
These aren't Jordans right now. These are just Nikes. But I love those Dear Dean shoes. And but any Jordan 1 lows, I got those. They come in my office. They're all just draped around my floor on my office.
What are your favorite Jordan lows?
It doesn't matter what color. Just any. It doesn't matter.
How have you seen Armando mature the last couple of years, and how has his regular basic maturity helped him with his basketball maturity?
It's been great because now he's in a leadership role. He's a guy that not only is our leading scorer, returning scorer, and rebound.
Take photos.
He's a guy that has experienced a number of big games here. In terms of outside of league, he's our most experienced player. And so the biggest difference in Armando is his leadership. As I said before, there's a desperation amongst the players to be relevant. One of them, and probably the most, is Armando. He came to Carolina to win a national championship. He came to Carolina to be in big games and make big shots. And over the last 2 years, particularly 2 years ago, he hadn't had that experience. And this is something that he wants, man, in his time in Carolina. And he's put himself in a great position to be able to do that.
Coach, when you played for these, correct me if I'm wrong, a player let out a curse word, or you heard a curse word, there was a penalty. Is that true?
Yes.
What is your philosophy on that? Are your players going to get penalized if you hear a curse word from you?
Yeah, if Coach Smith heard profanity, everybody would get over the line. We would run sprints. My policy is the same policy. If I hear anybody use profanity, we'll get on the line and we'll run sprints.
And that's a little bit of a contrast because obviously Coach Williams went out and played out there.
Well, I have to filter things through my own experience, and I know what a huge impact that made on me as an 18, 19-year-old kid. Seeing how Coach Smith and Coach Guthrie communicated in that way, and to honor them, that's something that I want to give back to the players today.
How often do you have to do that?
I haven't had to do it every time.
So you just told them before the season, hey, you do this will happen.
Yeah, before every time that we warm up, we stretch, warm up, and they go do individual work. I let them, each player gets to choose their own playmate. And so I've told them in the weight room and in the locker room, you can boom it up. You can do whatever you want to. But in the Swiss on the floor, everything's got to be transparent. And so they find a clean version and they put it on their feet.
Hubert, Roy was adamant every 4 years he was going to Maui. Do you have any scheduling philosophies?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Maui. I'm going to go to the Bahamas. There's one place that I want to go. And we haven't been. I remember my time in Carolina. We always played in New York City. We always played in the Garden. We either played Notre Dame or somebody.
Preseason NIT.
Preseason NIT. Sometimes we play over the Meadowlands. We haven't played in New York. And for me, being a former New York Knick, one of the best places to play a basketball game is in Madison Square Garden. So when I became head coach, one of the first things that I said is we got to find a way to get us to New York City. Play the NIT tip-off, or we'll just schedule somebody, but I want our guys to have the experience of playing in Madison Square Garden.
Coach Hayes last season here, I'm sure he's been asked ad nauseum, but what has he meant to the game of basketball? What has he meant to the ACC?
Well, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, not just college basketball, not NBA, football, whatever, but any sport. And so his devotion and his ability to get the best out of his team and his players for so many years is unmatched. One of the things that I think about is that last regular season win. Carolina Duke is perfect. It's perfect for us to be there on this last home game and what this rivalry means. And to think that I've been able to experience it as a player, as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach is a pretty cool deal.
You mentioned that when you were in Coach Lee, Coach Hubert, some of the guys you were really close with. When you were at the pro level, who were some of the
This will shock you. You know who was the person that I was the closest with in 12 years in the NBA? Christian Laettner.
Really?
Yeah. We played together for the Dallas Mavericks and the Washington Wizards, and we got along great. And so we would practice, and after practice, either I go to his house or he'd come over to my house, and we played ping pong all night. And our wives would just be downstairs laughing at us playing ping pong all the time. And so Christian's a great friend. I really enjoyed playing with him. I loved competing against him in college. We didn't like each other then. And then in the NBA, we just got along.
Yeah. Was there something about him that you were attracted to?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed people that are straightforward and direct. That's the way that I communicate. I don't speak in tongues or interpretations. I'm not vague. Christian's not vague. He's straightforward and direct, and I've always enjoyed that. And I think that's a huge reason why we got along.
Piggybacking on Greg's question about scheduling, what is your scheduling philosophy for non-conference games?
I don't really have a philosophy. This is my first year. I know that I
there's a lot of things that think through.
We're in so many tournaments.
How hard would it be to do? I know Coach Smith used to play a home game close to wherever a player was from during their career.
It's hard to do that.
It's hard to do that now because guys aren't around.
You're exactly right. It's hard. The last time that we did a home game for somebody was Marcus Page. We went back to go play Northern Iowa. We were the #1 team in the country. We lost. And so I would love to do that, but most of our guys don't stay 4 years. If they're good enough, they go to the NBA. If they're unhappy, they transfer.
That's true.
Yeah, I know you said you want to go back to the Garden, but I know like you're from the Virginia area. Are you looking to go in that area or DC area?
George Mason?
I really want to get back to the Gardens. I think it'd be fun to play in the Capitol Center. I don't even know if it's still up.
Did you ever play in the Patriots Center in high school?
No, never played in the Patriots Center in high school. And so going to New York that's really big fun. But we did play. We played the ACC tournament in 2016 in Washington, D.C.
How hard was it to hear Roy said on a podcast that he felt like essentially he wasn't getting it done, like he let the program down, he said, in his last 2 years. How hard is it to hear him say that given his whole track record in Carolina?
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't agree with that. I felt like Coach Williams was the best thing for this program, for this university, for our guys, for this team, for this community. And I felt the way that he had coached the 9 years that I was there was unmatched. I had a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, just the career that he has had, not only at North Carolina, but at Kansas, it's just unbelievable. He should be sitting in a lawn chair, just smiling and just relaxing, because not only did he win games, he loves people. He's changed people's lives. His devotion to his players, his devotion to North Carolina's program, to this community, to this university is unmatched. And irregardless of what has happened over the last couple of years, Coach Williams has been absolutely.
Do you see any players that remind you of you?
Any players?
Yeah.
No, because my freshman year I was 155, and I never lifted weights ever. These kids, they don't look anything like me. They're lifting, they're taller, they're stronger, they're more athletic, and so no, I do not see anybody that looks like me. Maybe B-Rob. That's it. That's it.
Will you utilize analytics very much? Is that a big building?
Yes and no. I think it depends on what you're analyzing. I know one of the things that we have to do is we got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. We were last in the ACC in terms of turning the ball over. So, analytics says you're turning the ball over a lot. Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to that. We were last for most of the year in terms of three-point shooting. I'm going to look at those numbers, because I want to be better shooting the ball from the outside. And we were last in the ACC free throw shooting percentage. So in terms of those analytics, yes, I'm going to be paying attention to that, but I can get that off of just a stat sheet.
One last question.
Not your question, this being your first year as a head coach, I remember it was my first year going into the meeting, guy kind of took me under his wing, gave me some tips and some different things, told me to best of luck. I want to make sure that I was paying.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It'll be a fun year.
Thank you.
Hubert, when you talk about suggesting as an assistant coach, like, how did you go about trying to suggest stuff with Roy? I mean, you obviously know him so well, but his timing.
It's all about timing and delivery. That's the key. When is the right time and how to deliver it. And so I knew Coach Williams. I knew what time to make a suggestion, and I knew how to deliver it. And so that's the key. Timing and delivery. The approach.
I know Steve said, last question, but how do you approach media? What's your...
I like media.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I just wonder, how do you want to deliver the message? You did a bunch of podcast interviews during the off season, local media versus national media.
I love it. I have no problem. The only thing that I want is I want to focus on the kids. And then secondly, I want my words, the intent of my words directly to be communicated. That's it. I know you guys have a job. You guys have a great job, and I know that you want to ask me questions, you want insight, and I would love to give that to you, and I will. I just want my words not taken out of context, and whatever I say, as I said before, I communicate directly. I don't speak vagueness. I'm straightforward. If I say this about this, then that's what I mean. There's no hidden meaning behind it. But I love it. I was a part of it. It's great.
All right, we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.